When you think about those ancient cities like Babylon or Alexandria, they were these incredible melting pots right from the start.
Absolutely. Just buzzing with different cultures, different languages.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, how did living like that, constantly interacting, shape how people saw themselves? Their identity.
That's exactly the kind of fascinating question we're diving into today.
Hmm.
We often think identity is just, well, personal, but the environment, it plays a huge role, especially ethnic identity.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're looking at some really interesting research. It focuses on Turkish residents in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And it specifically compares those living in Tehran, which is, super diverse, a real multicultural hub, with those in Tabriz.
Right, Tabriz being a city where the Turkish population is much more homogeneous. It's the majority group there.
So the core of this is a research paper, right? What did they do?
They surveyed almost 900 Turkish individuals, 884 to be exact, across both Tehran and Tabriz.
Wow, okay.
And they were looking at 3 key things about their ethnic identity. First, how aware they are of being Turkish. Second, their sense of belonging to that group.
And third?
And third, their level of commitment to their Turkish identity. Awareness, belonging, commitment.
Got it. So our mission today is basically to unpack how living in these different environments, diverse Tehran versus more uniform Tabriz, affects those 3 aspects.
Exactly. What does it actually feel like, or how does it manifest, to be part of an ethnic group when you're in a melting pot, compared to a place where your group is, well, the norm?
This should give you, listening in, a really unique perspective on how our surroundings kind of sculpt our sense of who we are individually and as a community.
And what's really interesting, maybe even a bit surprising, is that the study initially found no significant difference in the overall level of ethnic identity.
Wait, really? Between Tehran and Tabriz?
Yeah, looking at the total score, let's say. No big difference overall.
Huh. That is surprising. You'd almost instinctively think, okay, homogeneous city, stronger identity overall.
Right, that's the common assumption.
So why wouldn't there be a big difference then at that top level? What are the potential reasons?
Well, the researchers suggest that maybe the way you express your identity might change depending on where you are, but that fundamental connection, that core sense of identity, it might remain strong in different ways. Perhaps it's really rooted in, family, upbringing, cultural practices that just continue regardless of the city's broader mix.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like the core ingredients are still there, passed down,
Yeah.
even if the social soup around you has more variety.
Precisely. But, as you said, when they dug deeper into those specific components, awareness, belonging, commitment, that's where the really interesting differences popped up.
Right. Let's get into those. Awareness first. You're saying Turkish residents in Tehran showed higher awareness of their identity.
Significantly higher, yes, compared to those in Tabriz.
Okay, why would that be?
Well, the thinking is, in a multicultural place like Tehran, you're encountering other cultures constantly. Daily interactions, different languages, different traditions.
So you're always kind of comparing implicitly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That constant comparison, that interaction, it can really sharpen your focus on what makes your own group distinct. Your language, your customs, they stand out more when they're not the only ones around.
I can see that.
Yeah.
If you're, say, speaking Turkish in a predominantly Persian-speaking environment, you're just more conscious of it moment to moment than if everyone around you is also speaking Turkish.
Precisely. It's like being aware of your accent only when you're talking to someone with a different one.
Yeah, good analogy.
The study also mentioned something called ethnic identity salience. Basically, how much your ethnicity pops into your mind or feels important.
Salience, right.
In diverse settings, because you're often interacting as a member of a minority group, your ethnicity can become more salient. It's a way to define yourself, maybe preserve that distinctiveness.
And you mentioned this wasn't just a feeling they had. The difference was statistically significant.
Yes, the numbers backed it up quite clearly. They ran the tests, and the difference in awareness was highly significant.
So not just chance.
Not just chance. And they even calculated the effect size, which tells you how much of a difference there was. It came out as moderate. So noticeable, meaningful.
Okay, so living in diverse Tehran demonstrably boosts awareness of your Turkish identity.
Fascinating. What about belonging then, that feeling of connection?
Interestingly, on that front, there was no statistically significant difference between the two cities.
Okay, hold on. So more aware in Tehran, but not feeling any more or less connected to the group than folks in Tabriz.
Exactly. That feeling of us, that sense of belonging, seemed pretty consistent across both environments.
Why would that be? If awareness is up, wouldn't belonging maybe follow?
Not necessarily, it seems. The researchers proposed that this sense of belonging might be formed much earlier in life.
Ah, back to the family and upbringing idea. Yeah, rooted in those early cultural experiences, family bonds, community ties you form growing up, these foundations might just be more resilient, less easily swayed by your current adult social environment.
So Tehran's diversity makes you notice your Turkishness more. But that deep down feeling of being part of the group, that emotional anchor, stays put regardless.
That seems to be the interpretation. That core connection, established early, might transcend the day-to-day social dynamics of the city you live in.
All right, awareness higher in Tehran, belonging about the same. What about the third piece, commitment?
Now, here's the other big difference. Commitment was significantly higher among Turkish residents in Tabriz.
Higher in the more homogeneous city.
Yes. So Tehran residents were more aware, but Tabriz residents showed more commitment.
Okay, that's a really interesting contrast. So why more commitment in Tabriz?
The study suggests it's likely due to stronger in-group bonds in that more homogeneous setting.
Makes sense.
There's likely a greater collective emphasis on preserving traditions, values, practices. When your group is the majority, there are probably more opportunities, maybe even more social encouragement, to actively participate.
Right, like joining cultural events, speaking the language actively, upholding traditions. If everyone around you is doing it, it reinforces your own dedication.
Exactly. It strengthens that commitment. Think about community activities, social norms. They all likely point towards maintaining those ethnic traditions strongly in Tabriz.
And conversely, in Tehran.
Well, in Tehran, while awareness is high, that constant exposure to other ways of life, other perspectives, might lead to a more flexible approach.
Flexible commitment.
Potentially. Maybe a less rigid adherence to specific traditional norms. People might adapt, blend things, integrate aspects from other cultures. Their identity might become broader, less solely defined by that single ethnic commitment.
And again, this difference in commitment higher in Tabriz was statistically solid.
Yes, just like the awareness finding. Statistically significant, moderate effect size. A real measurable difference.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What's the big picture here? What does this tell us about multiculturalism versus homogeneity?
It really paints a nuanced picture. Living in a diverse place like Tehran seems to sharpen your awareness of your ethnic identity. The constant interaction might even foster tolerance, as the study suggests.
What?
But it might also lead to a more adaptive identity, maybe a slight loosening of strict commitment to traditional ethnic ways.
Okay. And on the flip side, the more homogeneous environment.
Tabriz seems to really bolster commitment to ethnic identity. Those strong in-group ties, the focus on tradition, they appear to deepen that dedication.
So it's like one environment makes your identity stand out more to you, while the other strengthens your actions and dedication towards it.
That's a good way to put it. And these findings, they don't exist in a vacuum. They connect to broader psychological theories.
Like what?
Well, like social identity theory, the idea that our sense of self is tied to the groups we belong to. In diverse settings, the contrast with out-groups makes our in-group identity more prominent, hence the higher awareness in Tehran.
Ah, okay.
And the researchers also noted this fits with other studies, both in Iran and elsewhere. Research on Armenians and other groups in Tehran, for example, has shown that people can maintain a strong ethnic identity while also having a strong national identity. People are adaptable.
They navigate these multiple layers.
Exactly. Identity isn't monolithic, it's dynamic. And context clearly matters in how different parts of it are expressed or emphasized.
So thinking about the key takeaways for you, listening at home, what should you really pull from this?
I think the main thing is that the diversity of your environment has this really nuanced effect. It's not simple.
Right. Multicultural places might sharpen your awareness of your background, maybe make your identity a bit more flexible.
While more homogeneous places might strengthen your commitment to that background, to its traditions, neither is inherently better. They just shape different facets of identity differently.
Which leads to a great question for you to think about. Consider your own environment, your town, your city, your workplace. How diverse is it?
And how might that level of diversity, or maybe the lack of it, be shaping your awareness, your sense of belonging, your commitment to the different groups you feel part of?
Because this study really drives home that identity isn't some fixed statue inside us. It's alive, it's dynamic.
It's constantly being negotiated, shaped by who we meet, where we live, the experiences we have. It's this ongoing conversation between ourselves and the world.
We really hope this deep dive gave you a new lens for thinking about identity, how complex, how fascinating it is, especially as our world gets more and more interconnected.
Absolutely. Maybe think about this. Which aspect of your own identity, awareness, belonging, or commitment feels most strongly influenced by where you live right now? It's definitely something worth pondering.